Hey guys, Josh from JDRC again. We're back with the Redcat 64 and we're gonna try and take this rear axle out and put in the new shiny chrome one. It's basically just, cover all your differential and everything's still gonna go in here. Your axle, everything, all your main gears are gonna go back in. It's just, like I said, just basically the housing. So to get started, you're gonna take the wheels off, pop your little chrome nut covers off your bolts that go on your wheel hexes. Pop those off real gently. Take your nut out, take the wheel off. Then you'll have your hex spacer basically that'll go on here like this. It'll have a pin in it. You just pull it out, and then you'll have a little pin that'll fall out, or the pin goes in there to hold it on there. Next we're gonna take this. It's got a, what size is that? That is looks like a 1.5 millimeter Allen head or hex head. Is that what they are? You ready? Well, it's a 1.5 millimeter hex head that takes this center drive shaft out. So we're gonna pop that out of there. It's like a tiny set screw basically. Pretty good length. So that's what it'll look like there. I'll set that up there. So that should now release your axle. And this can slide apart because it's got gearing in it. So we'll just set that off to the side there. Then you have the same, it's for your linkages here. Okay, small screw for your linkage. Let me set that up there. Same on the other side. So we pull those out. Set those aside. That should release steering linkage. Okay. And it looks like those are just some ball joints there. So we're just gonna take some pliers here. Pop that one off. Pop that one off. And those release, those are just regular ball joints, they just pop loose. And then looks like we've got this shocks on there. And those look the same length as the linkage screws, are they? Yeah. Okay, so those don't matter. Those aren't special lengths. They're the same length as the linkage screws. Okay. So we got those out. All right, so that those just should set off to the side there. All right, now your main part's out. Now we're gonna have to take the screws off the transfer case here, or differential cover, and set those aside. And we'll actually, all right, so to get the differential case off, we're gonna remove all 6 of these hex screws. Okay, so we got the diff cover off. That's what it looks like there after you get it off. Next, you'll take, there's 3 screws at the end of this shaft. Hold on a second here. 3 screws there you'll take out. Once you get those out, you'll slide the shaft straight out of there. And the shaft comes out, and you'll go ahead and slide it into your new case there, and just kind of let it loose, because you're going to have to take that diff out too. And then once you get that out, you should be able to take your diff right out of there. And just make sure you line everything back up the same. So I'm trying to do it exactly. Alright, and then since you've got that out, this, let's see. What is that? Alright, so to get this gear out of here, along this side, get your Allen wrench and stick it in the center of this little black nut, and then put you a pair of pliers on the other side of the shaft, and you'll just unscrew this. And that little center screw right there will come out. And then your shaft's going to come out the back with your bearing. And then there's your gear. So, those have got to be the first things you put back, obviously, into this one. You're going to want to stick your shaft and your bearing. Alright, then stick your bearing in, and you'll have to press it in there. Then your shaft back in. And then this gear is going to go back in there, and it's going to sit on there a certain way. So turn it until it lines up and sits down in there. Then take your screw. And throw it back in. Take your pliers and hold your back side. And you'll need to probably put a little bit of grease back in here, because obviously when we take it out and you're moving it and everything, you're gonna take some of the grease off it. So get you some gear grease, gear lube, whatever you want to use there. And put it back on there after you get that snugged back down. Okay, so that's in there now. Now we want to go to our main diff gear here. We're going to slide this back in. Obviously it can only go one way. Pop it in there. Your axles are going to fit. You're going to have to turn this until your axle slides in, because it has to line up with the diff. It's only going to line in a certain way. So let's see. Okay, go ahead. So you'll push these in and just kind of spin your diff a little. And eventually you'll hit that flat spot. And it'll go in. Okay, here we go. Okay, so we had to take the diff out real quick. There was a bearing down in here that we didn't see that was on this other one. So if you look in here, there's a bearing on both sides. So you'll have one there and one there. So you'll have to take those out. Just in case you haven't before you get too far, that's why we stopped and went back. I noticed the bearing on the inside was not there. So there's a bearing on both sides of those on that gear. So once you get those, then you can put your gear back in here. Line it up. It looks like I'm lined up already. And then take your little set screw that holds that gear on and put it back on. So we got the diff case on, diff cover, sorry. After your diff cover, you'll go to these little plastic rod end holders. Keep your rods in the shaft there. And you get those screwed back on. Then it's ready to go back on the car. Everything's turning, everything's working. So you just start mounting everything, all your shocks and all your arms and everything back up, and you're good to go. So I'll get another little short. All right, so once you've got everything screwed back in, all your axles back on, that's what she'll look like. So I'm not a big fan of the black screws. You can get chrome ones, I've heard, or silver. You know, local hobby shop, just match them up, size and whatnot, but I'm okay. I mean, it's all right. It doesn't bother me too much. So that's it. That's how you change out the rear axle from the black to the chrome. If you don't want to go that depth and change everything, you know, some people even paint their black one whatever color they want to do the rear underneath it. So that's that. Next we're going to do another project and we'll get a video on that when we're doing that one. Thanks for watching JDRC.